Hello, my name is Yunjin Ko, and I will be presenting you my ethical dilemma project. So, people indicate virtuous, good, and righteous actions using their own ethical perspectives and ideologies. There are many views that sees the case based on moral benefit, betterment of society, and many more. In this presentation, I will introduce you an ethical dilemma for you to think of and critically analyze it based on ethical aspects. Now let's head on to the ethical dilemma. Imagine that you are homeless, no place to eat, no place to rest, and of course no money. Suddenly, when you have lost all the hope, you see a button with an introduction. It said, press the button for a fortune that will last for a century. Because you are so desperate for money due to your terrible condition, you go near the button to press it. But here's the problem. On the front of the button, there's a baby, so small, young, and innocent, tied and connected to the button and hanging above a bridge. Obviously, if you press it, the baby will fall and die. However, since you're homeless and so eager to gain some fortune, it is so tempting to press a button. Now, what will you do? Is pressing the button wrong? Of course, if you press a button, the baby will die, but you will gain a fortune so big that will last for 100 years. However, if you do not press a button, the baby will live, obviously, but you will still be hungry and desperate for money, and then eventually just starve to death. What do you think? Are you going to press a button or not? Well, that was my ethical dilemma I present to you, and it's time to analyze them one by one. The ethical dilemma between a question like this, desire for wealth and prosper versus morally right decisions, had always made an argument in its aspects of subjectivism, egoism, and desire satisfactionism. Let us analyze them one by one based on the project question. First, there is a subjectivism way to analyze this point. Subjectivism, which is one part of metaethics, is the view that moral truth and righteousness are dependent based on attitudes, values, and desires of individuals. Our choice on the question that we have is very dependent based on the status of the one tapped in to press a button. For example, what if the person pressing a button is not homeless but a rich man? Will the attitude on the fortune differ between the homeless and rich? Well, of course will there be a difference because to homeless a great fortune will worth 0 plus 100, but to rich it will worth just 1000 plus 100. Then does the morally right decisions differ between them? Does the status of desire, wealth, or values of the one choosing affects whether the decision is right or wrong? This shows that our decision on this dilemma is very subjective. It's our choice between approval and disapproval. Moving on to the second aspect, there's an argument based on egoism. Egoism is a theory that an action is right if and only if it has the best consequences for the person doing it. Based on the egoists, pushing a button is correct answer. They will say it is right action for homeless because it brings great prosper without any negative consequences. Well, pressing a button certainly brings best consequences for homeless. No one will know that baby was murdered by him and he will gain a great fortune that can reverse his situation from poor homeless to wealthy rich. However, it gives us a question to consider. Does this mean this action is morally right? What's the difference between egoism and selfishness? It is your choice to think of and decide. Third, there's also aspect of desire satisfactionism. It is a theory that is deeply connected with egoism, which indicates that the satisfaction of someone's desire is the only sort of thing that is good in and of itself. In this ethical dilemma, a person who believes in desire satisfactionism will say like this: homeless pressing a button will fulfill his desire of having food, house, and fortune, which makes him good and justifiable. Yes, pressing a button will fulfill his desire, it will give him a fortune that he desires so much. However, is he morally right? Does sacrificing a baby life can be justified because it does a good consequence just for the homeless? Does following my own desire justifies all action is good? What about babies' desire to live? Are we ignoring them? Deeply connected to egoism, this framework asks us the balance between selfishness and altruism and asks us a question that what factor makes the action right or wrong? As we can see, the ethical dilemmas can be analyzed based on many perspectives and does not have clear answer. There may be many arguments, contradicting opinions, and different considerations between a person to person, but in ethical dilemma, we can never find out the direct answer from only one narrow perspective. However, with open-minded and multiple perspectives that can analyze the dilemma with multiple ethical aspects, We can identify the consequence, possibilities, and values of the dilemma, which will deepen our understanding of our actions and the factor indicating the right and wrong actions. Thank you.